D-ranking is probably the worst thing that can happen in Valorant, but how exactly can you stop it? You see, what most players don't realize is that they're actually making very, very obvious mistakes that can actually cause them to D-rank. This is the cure, and join me as we dive into 3 problems that are causing you to D-rank. Now, starting off at problem number 1, it is not playing safe enough. Now, I know that everybody in ranked wants to be the next frag star, and everybody gets kill hungry, okay? Even I do it. If I get a 3 or a 4K, you know I'm going to go for that next kill for the YouTube content, okay? So even I myself am not innocent of this. But how many times have you gotten 2 or 3 kills on the enemy team just for your team to get aggressive and end up losing the round? If you have numbers advantage, you do not want to peek no matter what, okay? Unless you have a for sure kill and you know that somebody's not looking at you for sure, you want to try to keep that man advantage and just pretty much hold angles, especially if you're on defense. It might be a 5v3 now, but if the enemy team wins a gunfight or 2, it's going to be on equal terms and you're going to have to pretty much fight an equal fight instead of having the advantage that you should have had from your kills. Now, if you're on attack on the other hand, then you do want to play aggressive whenever you're attacking, but if you take sight and you manage to get the bomb down, you do not want to peek unnecessary gunfights and lose the man advantage when all you have to do is pretty much watch the bomb. Throwing away the round post plant is probably the most common thing I see, especially in lower elos. For some reason, everybody gets kill hungry whenever they have their man advantage and they want to try and boost up their kills, that way they can look better on the scoreboard, but end up losing the round because 1, you either die to the enemies and they overtake the people that are trying to protect the bomb, or 2, if they're on eco and they kill you, they're going to get a free gun that they're going to use to A, kill your entire team, or B, save into the next round and they don't have to spend their money. So not only do you have to worry about them possibly winning the round, but you do have to worry about you just actually helping out their eco by giving them your gun. This is why this is extremely important on eco rounds. If you know that they're ecoing and you take sight and you have your good weapons, the last thing you want to do is give them to the enemy team. So you want to hold sight, play your distance, since most eco guns are not good at a distance, and you win the round for free, okay? That's all you have to do. That's all you got to tell your team, especially if you play in a stack, in a 3 or 5 stack. That's all you got to do to win the round. It's that simple. Now moving on to the next one is ego peeking. Now I'm sure it's happened to a lot of you that you've seen it on your team, or maybe it's even you that dies to an angle 2 or 3 times every round, but you're so confident that you can beat that person that you keep on peeking that same angle and end up losing every time. Now having a big ego is not too bad of a thing if it doesn't affect your gameplay, but a lot of the times it can subconsciously go into your gameplay that you might not even notice. Re-peeking angle that you know you're going to lose or you're possibly going to lose because you keep on losing to that one angle is a complete throw of a game, because all you're doing is feeding into that person's ult and giving your team the man disadvantage. Now I'm sure you've seen it, I've seen it, everyone's seen it. That one teammate that keeps on getting opt down cat and they keep on peeking it because they're just like, no bro, I can beat him, trust me, I can beat him, I can body this dude. And they might oversave for a run just to buy an op to try to counter it, but then they lose the op right away because they have, you know, it's a big mess, okay? If you keep on losing to one angle, just don't peek it. Now your ego could also be affecting the person that you play, and this is on a side note. Okay, yes, everybody wants to be a fragger, everybody wants to be a duelist, but nobody wants to play smoke and sentinels. And even though I feel like my best ability is with Reyna, I still have to play smokes and sentinels to fill because I don't think that my ego is big enough for me to only play duelists. I run into players sometimes that are playing really bad all night and I keep on running into them and they keep on auto-picking Reyna because that's all they know how to do and they expect themselves to frag. If you're playing bad and you know you're playing bad, then it's okay to pick somebody else and it's okay to get support, okay? You don't always have to be the top fragger on your team. That might look good at the end of the scoreboard, but it's not going to guarantee you wins. If your ego is big enough to the point where you don't want to pick smokes or a sentinel, then there is a problem with your gameplay and you are not going to rank up, trust me. Unless you're extremely, extremely good, which is probably not the case for most of you, you are not going to rank up, okay? Even I can't do it. Even though I'm the best. And the last tip I'm going to give you for today is not properly buying eco weapons. Now, of course, eco and eco weapons are a very important topic in Valorant, and I might make a video on this separately. Leave a comment down below if you want that. But you have to find out what priority and what value you're going to get out of the weapons that you buy on eco. For example, say you want a light buy, okay? So you're going to buy light armor. What weapon do you get after that? Now, most eco weapons are things like stingers, marshals, specters, deagles, and maybe even a ghost. But how many times do you see people buy a deagle and get absolutely no value from it, when a stinger would be much safer? And what I mean by this is that I know that some of you think that your shot is nuts, and maybe it is nuts, but The likelihood of a Deagle being able to compete against fully automatic rifles, especially when the other team is not saving, is much less likely than a Stinger being able to make some kind of an impact. Okay, I used to be that type of person that bought a Deagle every time I saved, okay? And while I did get some rounds here and there, I was able to pop heads, most of the time I feel like a Stinger is the safer choice in order to try to get the eco win, you get me? A 5-man eco rush with Stingers down 1 bomb site is it's gonna have a much higher chance of coming out successful rather than 5 people with Deagles running into site. The same could be said for a Marshall. If you want to buy a Deagle and you can afford a Marshall, I honestly think that the Marshall is the better choice. If your aim is on point, and trust me, I am a fan of the Marshall. If your aim is on point and you're able to click heads, the Marshall can be a game changer. So much that there are some nights where I'm just feeling my aim and I'm really into it, and I buy Marshalls over a rifle because I know I can click on heads. And it one-shot headshots no matter where you are, so the Marshall is something that is really slept on. And even though people buy it second round to try to take out the dude without armor, buying it on eco rounds instead of, a Deagle is an extremely effective tactic. And if you haven't tried that yet, then you really should. And around the same subject, I think the Bucky is a better gun than the Judge. Even though the Judge can fully automatic and destroy teams if they aren't looking, the higher rank you get, the more likely you're going to get cleared in a corner, or the more likely you're going to get traded out. So a Bucky is probably the best thing to have, I think, in most scenarios, because not only is it a shotgun, but you can kill people from surprisingly far if you haven't noticed. The Bucky can actually kill people from like 10 to 15 meters if you right click and you aim for the head. It's actually nuts, and a lot of people don't know how good it is until they get Buckied. Like, it's insane. You should actually go to the range and practice how far you can shoot people, because you will honestly be surprised if you haven't seen it before. Anyways guys, these have been my 3 tips on how to stop deranking. Anyways guys, all these clips are from my stream, so if you do want to go ahead and see them live, I will leave that in the description below. I stream almost every night all night, so I hope to see you all there. This has been The Cure. Thank you for joining me. Make sure to wash your hands and make sure that you take care of yourself out there, because there's a lot of shit going on. You have a good one guys. Take it easy. Until next time.